y'all doing today? Good. Glad to hear it. It's your boy Rafaelito coming to you live. I got some new software that I'm using. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with it. It's called StreamYard. I was using Riverside before, and it was giving me all kinds of headaches. So I'm trying out StreamYard, and so far, so good. So far, so good. Looking good. So let me, if I may, ladies and germs, just make sure everything's working good here. I checked on the two Ubes and it looked good. Yep, looking good there. All right. How about here? All right. Yeah, I think we're good. Cool. Let me exit this. All right, folks. How y'all doing today? Hope we got some folks that joined us today. Last time I did one of these, a little quiet. That's cool. I understand. Not everybody can be on these every time I log in live. Sometimes we get, all kinds of people on here. So it just depends. Everybody has those pesky real life, lives. What can you do? Right. So let me see if I can adjust this. I'm looking more into the camera. It's better, I think. What do you think? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I already like this better than Riverside. Okay, StreamYard, better than Riverside. There's my official stamp of approval. I don't know if you saw my little intro video there. That was pretty cool, right? Yeah, I'm going to improve upon that. I'm getting all kinds of funny ideas for intro videos. Try to spunk it up a little bit. That doesn't sound right. Funk it up? No. Jazz it up. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, if you are joining us today, my name's Ralph, a.k.a. DSO, which stands for Dad Starting Over, which is not coincidentally the name of the, I guess you could say, brand, content creation brand that I've been doing for years and years and years. It eventually evolved into our main business, our main organization is called Help for Men. And you can learn more at helpformen.com, which if you're watching this live, you should see. Oh, look at that right there, helpformen.com. We have a private community called the Brotherhood. You can learn more at helpformen.com/join. Let me see. Does this work? Oh, look at that. helpformen.com/join. It's a private community just for men. Sorry, ladies. We get together in live Zoom meetings. We have like a whole bunch of those, over 1,200 hours of those, over 1,300 hours of those that you can watch in our archives if you're a member, or listen to rather. And we also have a very active private discussion forum. We use Discord. We use a private Facebook group. No one can see you're in either one of those, so don't worry about it. No one can see your messages. No one can see you're a member of either of those unless they go grab your phone and snoop around and act as you, which has happened before. But anyway, what else do we have? All my books. I've written 4 different books. All of them are available at no charge to our members in ebook as well as audiobook format. We get together in person. We're having our 5th annual conference in Charleston, South Carolina, coming up here in a couple weeks. How cool is that? We already have 2026 planned. And I'm going to put it up here so we don't forget. We got Brofest2026.com. Brofest2026.com. It is open. I'm putting it out here for everybody to see because it's open to the general public this year. Men only. Sorry, ladies. We used to have them just open to members of our group, the Brotherhood, but we want to show a lot of guys what this is all about. Come join us. Hang out for the weekend. It's a Friday and Saturday, all day, both days. You get to meet myself, all the members of the Help for Men team, as well as Lauren, the Dadvocate. You know Lauren. She's going to be joining us for the weekend. How cool is that? Do you know Dr. Robert Glover, author of No More Mr. Nice Guy? He's going to be hanging out as well. Adam Nissenson is a name you may not know, but he goes by the brand name of the Betrayal Shrink. If you're a guy that's been betrayed, cheated on, all that good stuff, you'll want to check out Adam's stuff, betrayalshrink.com. He's also written a book called Man's Guide to Partner Betrayal. He and I are going to do a live stream here in a couple of days. I believe it's Friday, I think at 3 p.m. Eastern. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to go look. You can find it on YouTube in the live section of Dad Starting Over, as well as Facebook. You'll see the schedule of events there, and you'll join us, myself and Adam, for our live discussion. We're going to talk about infidelity and overcoming the trauma of being cheated on. Something that unfortunately a lot of guys that watch my material have experience with, unfortunately. But join us, brofest2026.com, live presentations, workshops, meet all these folks, meet myself, hang out, have fun. Lunch is on us. All the presentations are included in the cost of joining. The price is pretty reasonable for what you get. And the price will go up on July 1st. On July 1st, there will be a slight price hike. So right now is the cheapest you can get in. So check it out, guys. brofest2026.com. Back to this guy, the Brotherhood. We would love for you to join that and learn more all about what we do at Help for Men. If I get rid of that, there we go. There's my name back. Cool. I'm getting to know this software. It's pretty cool how it works. Let me go to comments. No comments just yet. Hey, guys, if you're watching this, do me a favor. And my contact is bothering me again. There's something with my left contact lens. I got a whole new box of contacts, new prescription. That's probably what's going on. And a new brand of contacts. Not quite fitting the left eyeball just right. I went all day with zero problems. And now that I'm with you guys, it's swimming around in my eyeball. It's not a... So if you see me doing this a lot... no better, really. I'm not losing my mind. This is my contacts sliding around in my eyeball. Okay. If you're watching this, do me a favor, guys. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe or a follow. Give me a share. Better yet, leave a little comment. Tell me where you're watching from. I always love to know where people are watching us from, where in the world you are. We always have people from all over the world joining me. If you are watching this on the Help for Men channels, you can see my little logo back there. We're officially on the Help for Men Facebook channel right now, as well as the Help for Men YouTube channel. Started simulcasting into all those. I do go by the name of Dad Starting Over, but Dad Starting Over is a part of Help for Men. And I've been doing content under the Dad Starting Over name for years and years and years and years. And I've written a book, several books. You can see them behind me. One of them that you don't see is a small book, just an ebook format called Red Flags. But I wrote Dead Bedroom Fix. That is my most popular book. Sold a whole bunch of those. So thank you guys if you watch that. That's what brings a lot of people to me and my material. Dad Starting, or Divorce Panic, excuse me, and Real Talk, no bullshit life advice for young men. As the name implies, it's a book for young men. So check those out. You can learn more at helpformen.com. We got Danny from Dallas. Well, Danny, guess where I'm at right now? If you ever see this different backdrop behind me, that's because I am in my Texas office. I bounce between a couple of different places. Long story. But I am in Plano. So North Dallas. How cool is that? And then we got, I remember, oh shit, I don't have my glasses on. Ralph. Destin, as I look through blurry vision here. Very cool. Mr. Brad, I believe you've been on here before. Somebody from Destin has been on here before. Welcome. As I mentioned last time I saw the name Destin, the family and I have been to, what the hell's it called? What's the cool place right now? We're drawing a blank. The cool place right next to Destin where they shot the Truman Show and all that stuff. What the hell's that place called? We've been there like 3 times, and I can't remember the name of it. Oh, this is going to bother me. Anyway, maybe Brad, you can help me out there. The cool place where all the buildings are white and pretty and... Well, this is going to bother me. It's one of those days, guys. One of those days. All right. Seaside. Thank you. What a generic name. Oh, I don't know. Seaside. It's not like it's some weird name. It's a city by the sea. Anyway, thank you, Brad. Yes, been to Seaside many times. And very cool spot. All right. Guys, what this is not. These lives are not, hey, let's just log in and watch this bald dude just blab away and talk to himself. I guess technically that's what it is. But you know what I mean? I depend on you guys to ask me some questions. For some weird reason, over the past 8 years or so, it's almost 10 years now of doing this, but 8 years as like a content creator and putting my name and face out there, all that stuff. For whatever reason, a large portion of, let's qualify this further, a few 100,000 people have determined that they think that my perspective on things and advice has some kind of value. Go figure. And so I will get emails and questions and direct messages and everything all the time, all day long, every single day. And so I do these lives as a way of saying, hey guys, let's interact live, one-on-one. so to speak, as opposed to just waiting for me to eventually get around to replying to your email or do what we call the Dear DSO thing. Are you guys familiar with the Dear DSO thing? Heck, let's do another little banner here. Why don't we? Enter a banner. DearDSO.com. Add banner. Show banner. Boom. Look at that. DearDSO.com is a, hold on a second. If you go to DearDSO.com, it jumps you to a page on the Help for Men website that has a little form that you can fill out. And the form is, Ralph, here's my story. I'd like you to do a little video on it. Or you have the option, there's a little button on there you can click and fill out your email address. And you can say, I'd like to talk to you live one-on-one. I've recorded 3-4 of those so far, and I have another one that's been recorded. It's being edited as we speak, and that will be going up in the YouTube channel as well, where I talk to people live and we hash it out, so to speak. And again, these are guys and a gal. We've talked to one gal as well, Victoria. That was a really good one. And they want to hear the perspective of a guy that's been there, done that, so to speak, and has written books on the topics and talked to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dudes about these issues. So if that's you and you're like, I kind of like your stuff, dude, I'd like to hear your take on this, whatever this may be, go to DearDSO.com, fill out the form, click the little button, and we can actually talk live one-on-one, or don't, and I'll just answer it on my own in a one-way conversation via video. And you can see all those videos on YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff, and TikTok as well. So again, guys, wherever you're watching this, if you could be so kind as to give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a follow, share, all that good stuff, I'd appreciate it a great deal. We got Kenny from Missouri. Well, welcome, Kenny. Have I been to Missouri? Yeah, I've been to Missouri. Never been to the Ozarks, you know, the TV show. Everybody, I'm sure they had like a little boom in tourism because of that TV show. But I've been to St. Louis, obviously, a couple times. I think that's it. Been to Seaside, been to Dallas, obviously, kind of there now, in Plano, that counts. But all right, everybody. Any questions, comments, anything at all, please share. Maybe you've seen some video of mine or somebody else. I don't mind talking about somebody else's stuff. Let's be respectful about it. You know, like, look at this idiot said or whatever. No, if we want to hash it out and talk about something, now is the time to do so, ladies and germs, as I patiently sit and wait. I could just sit here and just stare at the camera. Awkward silence, dead air, as they say in the radio world. Let's not do that. Kenny says it's beautiful. My head? No, I know what you're talking about. Ozarks. Yes, it is. From what I've seen on TV. Sure looks nice. Is it as backwoods and rednecky as, you know, as they seem to show? I don't know why, but I don't equate Missouri with that kind of thing. I also spent a great deal of time in Kentucky, and I grew up in rural Indiana for most of my childhood. And I equate those with kind of rednecky things, but I never thought about Missouri in that way. And then I see the Ozarks. I'm like, this looks like Appalachia kind of stuff, you know, complete with meth and everything else. Maybe I've been living under a rock all these years. Do share, Mr. Kenny. So anybody have any questions? Guys, don't be shy. Let me jump on over here, if I may, ladies and germs. Let me go to the Help for Men, because the way this is set up, I'm not going to see anything from the Help for Men channel. We're good there. Okay, cool. I'm going to put that over here. All right. Cool. Very good. Okay. Oh, let's see. Let me bring you back here. Where's my StreamYard? There it is. Okay, we got Mr. Tim from YouTube says, it might be better as a Dear DSO. It's dead bedroom related, but we're getting close to something of an ultimatum chat at our next therapy appointment. Any advice on this? Yeah, man, good one. Thank you, Mr. Tim. Saving the day with a legitimate question here. We have a lot of what we would call anxious dudes. Let me get this out of the way here. Anxious dudes that are part of my audience. And they're also part of our private group, the brotherhood that I talked about. Learn more at helpformen.com. Let me bring up the banners here. There you go. If you want to check out the brotherhood, our private community for men only, helpformen.com/join. Let me bring back up the comments here. And a lot of these anxious guys, what they do, unfortunately, is really pursue their woman. Do you love me? Do you love me now? Why are you acting this way? Why are you being so angry? Why do you not seem to like me anymore? How come we don't touch each other anymore? What's going on with you? Is it wrong? Do you need to get your hormones checked? And on and on and on and on. And the women are just basically badgered by these men. And the women are eventually like, can you just shut up and stop bringing up our relationship and stop bringing up all the problems with it? Good Lord, leave me alone. The women are usually very avoidant in nature. The old yin and yang, opposites attract thing. So, these guys, by virtue of either my material or others, kind of get the hint like, dude, that's not getting anywhere. Like, you've been trying this for years and years. Maybe you need to back off a little bit. They're like, okay, fine. But you can only hold back that stuff for so long. And when you go, let me just see what happens when I back off. Unfortunately, what a lot of guys realize is, oh, wow, once I back off, she's just gone. The old let the bird go and you watch it just fly away. And you're like, okay, I guess that's never coming back. It's kind of what a lot of guys see. A lot of what emotionally, at least from their spouse, is that she emotionally leaves and she don't ever come back. Sucks, but happens. And so eventually they want to just go, woman, and just emotionally vomit all over and go, this is what I've been feeling all this time. I'm sick of this nonsense. What the hell's wrong with you? And on and on. Also, it doesn't get anything done. We have what we call Mr. Who was that asked? Mr. Tim and others. We have a something we call the quote healthy version of the talk, which I can give you a quick summary of here. Wife, you got to lead with this, and I hope this is true. If it's not, you got some bigger fish to fry. But anyway, wife, I love you. I do. That's why I married you, because I love you, and I want to be with you until the day I die. That's the whole point of this whole thing. You and I go through life together. But here's the deal. I think we both know this is really not good between you and I. The fact that we haven't touched each other in insert time period here, that's not healthy. And any therapist would tell you the same thing. In fact, you probably have a therapist who may have told you exactly that. I'm willing to work on this, not simply for the old sex. That's important in a relationship. Any therapist will tell you that too. But that's like the end game of a lot of stuff in between. And we don't even do any of the stuff in between. We don't hug, we don't kiss, we don't go on dates, we don't do none of this stuff. It's like you've just checked out without divorce. And that's no way to live as a couple. But I'm willing to put in work to get us back together. What do you say? Are you willing to join me on this adventure? Or are you just like, that's the last thing I want to do? Because if it's the last thing you want to do, then let's just shake hands and call it quits and just be good parents to our children. But, do this separately. Go through with divorce. That comes from a place of strength. It's like, yeah, I don't really need you, woman. I would love to have you, hence why I married you. But if you don't want that, I'm not going to do this unilateral one-way thing anymore. I've tried this for years and years. It don't work. So what do you say? You going to join me or no? Now, here's the thing. You got to be able to follow up on that and say, if she says, no, I'm not going to do that, dipshit, then you go, okay, cool. Anyway, I wrote this divorce agreement. Here you go. Look it over or have an attorney look it over and let me know what you think. That shows like you mean business. It's often with that passing of the divorce papers that often the woman goes, oh shit, he's being serious. Okay, what did you want to do? You want to go talk to a therapist or something? Fine, we'll go talk to a therapist. That's not the reaction you want, is it? But it's a possible step towards the right direction. It gets the ball rolling. Maybe. Usually not, but maybe. That's the tone, at least, that you want to take to this therapy session, Tim and others. It's not boo-hoo, I can't believe you, what's wrong with you, or you're some kind of broken monster. It's, this is what I want to do. You with me or not? Come on, woman. I love you. Let's do this. High five. Team Tim and Mary, or whatever it is. But it's so heartbreaking to get the woman across from you going, no, dude, I don't want to do that shit. Just leave me alone for a bit, would you? Sucks, right? Hold on a second. I'm going to get my glasses. I think they're in here in my bag. Here, guys, look. It's my backpack. A little behind-the-scenes action, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, shit. I got like 2 pairs of glasses. All right. I'm tired of not being able to see your comments here and squinting like a old man. All right. We got Mr. J from YouTube saying, enjoy your videos with Dr. Psych Mom. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You make a good combo. As a guy, I appreciate that she accepts that it's okay for men to have sexual needs. That's incredibly validating. Well, very good. I will pass that on to her. I'm sure she'll be happy to hear that. Isn't that sad? that it's so unusual, if you will, for a woman to be so, and it's not necessarily like really super pro male to a kind of an odd degree. We see that there's a lot of accounts out there from women. I often say there's a whole market of reasonably attractive women who say very pro male things about sexuality and relationships in general, and they can just write their own ticket. You get a pretty gal in there saying men are right, gosh darn it, and men just flood to their accounts, send them money, do whatever, and these women do very well for themselves. But Samantha, who I respect a great deal, I love Samantha's stuff. I love her material. I love she's an incredibly bright person. The more you get to know Samantha, I'm not saying I really know her all that well. We chat on occasion. You realize the chick's got it going on. She's very smart, and she's a doctor, for goodness sakes, doctor of psychology. So she's no dummy. Way smarter than yours truly. So I learned a lot from working with her over the years and collaborating with her. So when that kind of person basically puts out there, hey, dudes, you're not monsters. You're normal for having these needs. And ladies, your dude's normal for having these needs. To hear that from such an well-respected individual like that, especially when they're a lady, it does mean a lot, doesn't it? But that sentiment of, guys, your sexuality is normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I know you're a horn dog. I know you want it more so. Guess what? You're healthy. High five to you, dude. That is such a left turn from the, I guess, overall message societally. Is that a term? Um, Something that we hear overall in the general societal discourse is the tone we hear more often than not is one of, we see your sexuality, man. You got to suppress that shit, dude. I know you want your wife. I know you're looking at all these other women, but hey, put that under wraps, man. And the answer, the follow up to that from some men is like how under wraps exactly should I be? And the answer, unfortunately, to a lot of these men from a lot of society is, oh, just put it under wraps for good. You're married. You're a father. You've been with this woman 10, 20, 30 years. That chapter of your life's over, dude. Sorry. That's not healthy. That's not normal. That's not, that ain't good. There's got to be some kind of compromise here, or there's got to be some kind of middle ground. I think that's what Dr. Psych Mom and I would like to think myself represent. Alex asks, what's the average size attendance at Brofest? I think the most we've had at one in the past was 60 gentlemen. 60. We would like to be more than that this year, but who knows? You never know. I think we have officially 20 guys signed up so far, and we're a year ahead of time. So we're doing pretty good as far as the pace of things. Let's keep it going. And we would love to have you, Mr. Alex. Join us, my friend. You get a hug from yours truly. Okay, maybe that just scared you away. So, Mr. Youth, it's hard for me to say. Useful thoughts. Could you pick a more tongue twister? Youthful thoughts. I have 3 academic degrees, but a low income. This often disappoints women, and they don't understand my free lifestyle. What do you think about low income, high education men? Who cares what I think, dude? What do you think? Yeah, woman. I make 25 grand a year. I live out of my van. I'm happy as can be. I love my life. I live on the beach. I'm making a bunch of shit up. I don't know, dude. It's what I do, man. And I got a lot of degrees because I like learning. I find life interesting, is what it is. Now, with that being said, as confident as that sounds, and it's like, I don't really give a shit as that may sound, yes, useful thoughts. You are going to scare away a large percentage of the women out there. Women that are interested in long-term monogamous relationships, marriage, whatever it may be. They're going to look for somebody who has a track record of earning, winning, ambitious behavior. Most women that are like, I'm looking for a long-term dude, husband material out there. If I were to put like, here's UT, Mr. UT here. Here's his criteria, degree. I think probably 9 times out of 10 women would be like, interesting. Sounds like a hardworking dude. Tell me more. Yeah, but he's not interested in making any kind of money. This is how much he makes, and he ain't ever going to go beyond that. He's cool with the way things are now. They'll be like, probably a guy I would have fun with, maybe. But as far as marriage and all that stuff, Not for me, thanks. That's going to be a big chunk of, dare I say, the majority of women out there. Let's just face reality. That's what it is. Are these women shallow? Are they? No, I mean, they got certain criteria for what they're looking for in a mate. And most women will say, it's not a guy, I'm making shit up again, that lives out of his van and, beach bum type of dude. It might be the guy that she has the summer fling with. It might be the guy that she's, has a little something and blogs about it later or whatever, but not for a long-term relationship. Is that bad? I don't think so. I'm not going to look at this woman and say they're a bunch of shallow a-holes or whatever. Is what it is, man. Much like, here, let's try to draw a parallel and flip the genders. The vast majority of men, if you put, a little resume together of a woman, here's a potential mate for you, dude. Cool, let's see. And you're like, she's got her own money. She got a good career. She loves kids. She's great with kids. Look at all of her friends. She has we've hooked up a truth detector machine to her brain, and she's never committed infidelity. She's never screwed around. She's been a good person. She's a very good person. She donates to charity. She does all these things. And you're like, what a good individual. I'd like to get to know this person. And then they show you an image, and she weighs 900 pounds. And she looks like Jabba the Hutt. 9 times out of 10, those men are going to say, ooh, not for me. Sorry, Jabba. I'm sure you can find a better match for you, but it ain't me. Oh, how shallow, how terrible. And then she goes to the internet and says, can you believe all these men? They won't give me a chance just because I look like this. Is what it is, man. Tim says, thanks, Ralph. Well, thank you. You hit the nail on the head with a lot of that. I am Mr. Anxious. She is avoidant, etc. What I'm really hoping for, some form of accountability from her to put a plan into action, or call it. So, Mr. Tim, you're kind of sitting back with your arms crossed going, let's see what you got. Well, Mr. Tim, she's had years and years to show you all this stuff, I assume, right? That ain't her, man. She's not Mr. or Miss, excuse me, go for it. Let's fix this relationship. Woohoo. Let's get this relationship train back on the tracks. Let's do this, man. No, man, that ain't her, dude. She's, if she's like most of the gals, most of the spouses of the guys that come to me and for help and so forth, it's like she's, in terms of the amount of mental energy that she puts into you two as a couple, it's close to zero. The effort that you've probably put into it is probably an 11 out of 10. You're wildly mismatched in that department. There's a lot of women watching this saying, yeah, right. No, these guys exist. They put so much work. They put so much mental effort and everything into relationship. They're very preoccupied with the health of the relationship. And they got a wife who's just like yawning. So, I don't give a shit, man. That's who she is, dude. So if you're sitting back and waiting, hell, I can save you the time, dude. Ain't gonna happen. Probably. Hey, maybe she's gonna. My glasses are a little crooked there, aren't they? Maybe she'll surprise me. No, I'm bothered by that. You own a 100 square meter apartment and a car? Oh, okay, cool. But it's not enough. Says who? The majority of women out there? The majority of women that UT attracts, hangs on to? It's not enough for what? For long-term partnership? Cool, good for them. Are you saying you get like no action? Food for thought, my friend. Some of the men that have been in my periphery, in my life at some degree, how ironic that the ones who had the most luck with women, and by that I mean sexual success, let's be honest. The guy has a lot of notches on his belt, on his bedpost, whatever, tend to be kind of losers. Like from a very superficial ones and zeros money point of view, career aspirations point of view. The quintessential beach bum, the guy who, lives out of his van, but travels all over the place and playing guitar on the beach and doing odd jobs and everything. Those guys tend to get laid, man. What is that? That free spirit, that I don't give a shit spirit. And then what's interesting, while they may get laid, so to speak, I bet if you ask that guy, if you were to approach 10 women in a bar and say, this is, give him the speech, this is who I am, this is what I do, he'd probably tell you, oh, 9 out of 10 would tell me to get lost. But the 10th one, she has fun. She don't mind. We have fun. That's it. But he would also tell you, but I'm not delusional enough to think that I'm going to get a long-term relationship with any of them because I don't have the qualities that most ladies desire in a long-term mate. Is that a good summation of your situation? Jay says, follow up to your previous comment. My wife hates the idea of planning any kind of improvement. She's just going to wait until things magically improve and then she'll consider affection and sex. LOL. 10 years of dead bedroom and counting. Jay, my friend, I don't know what more you need, dude. She's get away, get away, get away, get away. And you're like, no, you're not going to get rid of me that easy. Get away, get away. I don't know how many more getaways. And then you're like, well, maybe you can work on. No, dude, ain't going to happen, man. Is what it is, dog. Let the gal go. You may be surprised. You may be like, oh, well, cool. I got rid of that dude. No biggie. It hurts. It sucks. What a shitty thing of her, if that's in fact her mindset and all this. But it may be best for both of you. You may both flourish when you're apart from each other. It sounds like this ain't a happy union. But I'm just going by a few little posts here or comments here. Not necessarily fair. UT says, it was not enough for recently a medical doctor, a PR CEO girl, and even an unemployed woman. No matter whom I date, they all want luxury holidays and a house with a garden and a pool. Well, who doesn't want that? But they want that from a long-term mate? Sure. Like I just told you, pretend you're the Jabba the Hutt woman. None of these men, all these men want the woman with the 34, 24, 36 hourglass figure and looks like a Instagram model and yada, which is not necessarily true. They just don't want Jabba the Hutt. Maybe you're saying all these women want the guy with the garden and the pool and everything else. Is that maybe a little bit of a self-defense mechanism of no, they want a guy with more aspirations, more ambition in life? There is the case, UT and others, that there's a lot of this narrative out there of what do women bring to a relationship? Women just cause a lot of anxiety and tension in a man's life. And a lot of men report, once divorced, like the weight's off my shoulders. I'm free to do whatever the hell I want. If I want to stay up a little late and watch the game, I can do that. If I want to go drive to the beach and do this and do that, go fishing, it's just like, holy shit. And their conclusion and all that is, wow, women in my life, when he looks back on this and other relationships, just really are kind of a buzzkill. They just put a big blanket of depression over everything. And then once they're gone, I'm alive again. Sure, that's one way of looking at it. But I'll tell you what, you know me, this is coming from me, very pro-male dude. For a lot of guys out there, a lot. Do you know what a woman represents in their life? Something to shoot for, something to impress, someone to impress. There are plenty of men out there who pre-woman was a guy sitting on his butt playing video games. Not a lot of ambition. Is what it is, man. I got my little part-time job. I got my apartment. I can cover the rent and have a few bucks left over to hang out and have some beers, put food in the fridge. What more does a guy need? Then he meets a woman. She expects more. She expects ambition. And he's like, I guess I'll go over to my uncle's business and get a job selling insurance. I guess I'll work really hard becoming an insurance salesman. I guess I'll work and eventually become manager of the insurance. I guess I'll become regional director. I guess. And when he looks back on all of his success later, when he's a 60-some-year-old guy sitting on a pile of money, he's like, I got my wife to thank for a lot of that. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have the drive and the ambition to really get going in the world. That's a lot of men. So the conclusion that a lot of guys wouldn't have any kind of sense of go-getterness or whatever, or ambition or whatever in life if it's not for women. I think that applies to a lot of men. Let's just be honest. Not every man. Some men flourish professionally, spiritually, and everything when they're single. They're more wired for the bachelor life. When they're tied down to one woman, they're just like, that just stifles all kinds of creativity, ambition, everything in me. They just become couch potatoes, and then they later in life realize, like, why did I do this? That's a lot of men as well. But anyway, it's not always a negative thing. Mr. Scott, who is a coach within Help for Men. So go to helpformen.com/coaching and look at Scott's bio if you want to learn more about Mr. Scott Tim. He says, if you are measuring yourself with the materialistic standard, the women you are attracting also measuring you with a materialistic standard. There you go, dude. So UT, we're not victim blaming here or pointing the finger at you, but we're like, maybe it's some vibes or wherever social circle you surround yourself in that you are attracting these women who are maybe a little shallow, a little superficial about what they want. I only want a guy who drives a Rolls Royce. And if somebody came to me and said, every woman that I'm with wants a man who drives a Rolls Royce, I'd be like, where are you hanging out, dude? What kind of women want a Rolls Royce? I don't know anybody who's got a Rolls Royce. Pardon me. Mr. Tim, you are referencing a backdrop which is not here. So you're talking about my other videos that you see in my other studio, if you want to call it that I do videos out of guitars in the background. I've talked about that before. It's just it's a hobby that I really don't spend enough time on. I'm your typical dude that's got guitars and I just fiddle every now and then and play some Led Zeppelin stuff and other things and for a couple hours and call it a day. I don't play out of the house. I have in the past with some dudes. So that's way years ago. But I have a PRS McCarty SE model, the one made in is it Korea or Indonesia? I think there's PRS makes them in two different places. And then I have a couple of G&L models, the ASAT, which is their Tele version, or the version of the Tele rather, the Telecaster, and then the Strat version, which is the Legacy. And both of those are also not the made in USA ones. I'm pretty cheap when it comes to a lot of stuff in my life. If you ever get to know me, a bit of a frugal dude. So I'll have I bought both used, both on Reverb, just a few $100 each. And the PRS actually bought on Reverb as well for $600. And that one had a new treble bleed put in it and some other updates, new tuners, I think, or something. Got new pickups in the ASAT from a local dude and new wiring. So I like the technical aspect of guitars and stuff, the gear stuff. I really love that a lot, almost more so than the actual playing. Kind of nerdy of me. And as far as amps are concerned, I just have a the one modular amp. Dudes, I don't know what's going on with the brain today, but it ain't working. Kemper, oh God, the Kemper Profiler. That's what I use. Which, by the way, if anybody's interested, I'd like to sell that thing. You know why? Not because it's bad, but because I only use like 0.1% of its capability as a bedroom player, basically. And it's kind of way overkill for me to have a Kemper. Anybody interested in buying a Kemper Profiler from me? Ralph.b@helpformen.com. Ralph.b@helpformen.com. Email me, put Kemper in the subject line and say, I'm interested. Let's cut a deal. I'll send it to you. Mr. UT says, I'm happy making around 30K and I have time to walk my dog, enjoy nature, cook, etc. But it doesn't seem what women expect. A normal life. Cool. All right. Dude, that's your world, man. Which do you want? You want to do the typical thing that most women, quote, most women out there want? Or do you want your own little life that you love that's relatively low income but happy? Can't have it all, dude. Back to the Jabba the Hutt example. She's like, I like my food. I like my body the way it is. I'm not unhappy with being Jabba the Hutt and weighing 900 pounds. But it doesn't seem to be what men want. This sucks. I don't know what to say, man. Mr. Scott is hosting a meeting tonight for the Brotherhood. Again, helpformen.com/join. See at the bottom of the screen there. He says the meeting title is The Art of the Call Out, Holding Each Other Accountable Without Being an Asshole. Scott always has the best meeting titles, meeting subjects. All very good. We have a lot of meetings out there. And thank you, Scott. We owe, Jay says, I owe much of my life success and achievement to my wife, and I tell her that frequently. She loves me the same, but she lives me? You're kind of made some typos there, my friend. But works literally never express it out loud. Okay, yeah. I don't know if you had a stroke in the middle of your content or your comment there. UT says, I have a friend who only gets a BJ from his wife when he carried the trash out and washed the car. Oof. This kind of agreements are not romantic. No, that's not good. That's not healthy. And that's if I would pull that dude aside, I'm like, dude, don't do that, man. What are you doing? I'll trade you this for that. And no, These kind of acts should not be born out of taking the freaking trash out and doing chores, for God's sakes. Not good. But yeah, that's not unheard of thing, is it? Jay says, I make 100 grand and my wife has been unhappy for 25 years. You can't make someone else happy. It's up to her. And if she wants to be a victim, a martyr, no amount of money is going to change that. Yeah. It could be argued, Mr. UT and others, when you got a gal that says to you, you don't make enough for me. This is what I need. This is what I need. You say, oh, phew, thank goodness. Shake her hand and go, thank you for not wasting any more of my time, because you're not the type of individual I want to hang out with. Have a good day. You are, in essence, if that upsets you so much to the point of Mr. UT of being like, these freaking women, they're no. You are advertising what? Basically your scarcity when it comes to the romantic world. You know, if I'm out and about and let's say I'm a single dude again and I'm out meeting some gal and I just go to some gal that I think is kind of pretty and I eyeball her and say, she's about my age. And I go, hey, I'm Ralph. What's your name? Nice to meet you. She'd be like, sorry, dude. I don't like bald men. I'd be like, okay, nice to meet you too. But all right, well, have a good one. I wouldn't sit up all night going, freaking women don't like bald guys. That's her opinion, dude. She likes men with hair. Cool. Ironically, I probably wouldn't like a bald woman either, but hey, is what it is. But why would I just be so flippant and be like, eh, good for her. Cool. Because I know she's literally one of millions of women out there. Ain't no big deal, dude. UT, you have a sample size of how many women have turned you down? 672 women have turned you down because of your job? Probably not. What, 12? 20? Keep going, dude. Resign yourself to the fact that you're in for maybe casual relationships that are fun, but probably not going to find a long-term partner the way you want. Also cool. Not the end of the world. Is this point to the fact that you have kind of painted yourself into a corner? It's not the right analogy. Have you has someone or something sold you on the idea that you need a long-term partner to go through life with, and if you don't have them, you're a failure? Is that something to explore? It's not necessarily true. Mr. J, I would paint the entire house and buy her a new car for a BJ. Jay, this isn't good, buddy. I wouldn't advertise this to the world. I'm pitiful too. No. It's just messing with you. Joel says you have to find value in yourself before you can expect others to do the same. Very well put, Joel. Thank you. Mr. JKS says, if someone doesn't value you without money, you're better off not having them in your life. Very good. Yeah. UT says, I had around 40 women in my life. Damn. So we're kind of like the vagabond lover here. You're kind of playing that out, aren't you? I am 43, but it's getting harder. You're 43 now and it's getting harder, what, to get women? So do you always have like this carousel of women coming in and out of your life? And now like the carousel is kind of slowed down, and what used to be 3 women a month is now 1 every other month, 1 every 6 months. And you're just like, oh, this isn't good. And the feedback you're getting from women is like, we need some more ambition out of you, dude. Maybe this is the universe telling you it's time to do more, or do you just go, here's what it is. I like who I am. He says, exactly. So you were Mr. Loverboy, and now you're not so much. Is this somewhat, oh boy, why am I even going down this train of thought? But hear me out. I've heard this out of women's mouths, so I'm not being sexist. I'm not saying, ha ha, ladies, this isn't good. This isn't nice. This isn't fair. I feel for you, ladies. But there is this thing of some women saying, I was in my 20s and 30s and I had male callers, suitors, whatever you want. This sounds very old fashioned, isn't it? A lot of guys hitting on me, wanting my number, wanting to take me on dates, but paying for meals, wanting to take me on vacations, proposing marriage. And I was like, no. Maybe they had a failed long-term relationship or two. And then they get in their 40s and it's okay. They still get some attention in their 50s. And they're like, what happened? 60s, they're like, be nice to have a guy and be nice to get attention again. And it'd be nice. And a lot of these ladies, and I talk to them, they tell me like, I feel invisible now and this sucks. Maybe you're reaching that kind of the equivalent of that in UT's world. I don't know. Mr. Lover, Mr. Playboy, and they're just like, not enough, dude. You're 43 now. We need to see a little bit more out of you to keep going. I don't know. It could be a whole bunch of different things here. Mr. Scott, a different Mr. Scott, says, is it a red flag if a woman you've been dating for 6 months does not add you to Facebook? Would you suspect that they're hiding something? I don't know. I don't give a shit. Um, while I am active on Facebook and other social media platforms, it is solely for work stuff. In fact, I abandoned my personal stuff years ago. If any of you know me personally, can probably attest to that. Go to my personal Facebook page and you'll be like, when's the last time this dude did anything with it? It's probably like, shit, I don't know, 2-3 years ago that I posted anything. And my wife may go to that and go, man, my husband doesn't like post pictures of like, look at my cute kids and my pretty wife, and he doesn't wish me happy birthday on his page or anything like that. Would it kill him to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I don't do that shit anymore. And she's secure enough to go, yeah, my husband doesn't do that shit anymore. No biggie. I show her enough love outside of that. But, and here comes, there's going to be a plethora, there's a good word, of men out there that will tell you she's hiding something. She's hiding you. She's up to no good. This is, dude, time to investigate. They might be onto something. Maybe not. I don't know. You ever approach her and go, how come how come you don't add me on Facebook? What's up with that? What's wrong with that? Is that a little needy? Is that a little bit? I don't know. Just it's all in how you approach it. Like, hey, you want to add each other on Facebook? If she's like, nope, you'd be like, how come? Wonder what she would say. What's wrong with pursuing that? I don't know if it bothers you that much. To me, I'm just like, I don't give a shit. But that's me. Jock Lubin? He says, the Dadvocate Lauren live in about 2 hours, and now DSO help for men live. I am blessed. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And he says that Lauren told me that she's anticipating meeting you in person at this year's Brofest. Next year's Brofest, 2026. Hey, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, myself and Lauren the Dadvocate and Dr. Robert Glover, Scott Morales, who was on here earlier, and the rest of the HFM team will be at brofest2026.com, brofest2026.com. We do have a Brofest coming up here in a couple of weeks, Brofest 2025. Been sold out for a while. Sorry, guys. It's a smaller affair. We rented a beach house and we're making something small just to try something different out. But next year is back to the full-fledged conference kind of atmosphere. Try to get as many dudes as we can in the door, and we're going to make it a big one. So check it out. Mr. Jack, was that let me jump back to, is it Jock? Jack? I'm going by your username here on YouTube, Jock, Mr. J. And others. I'll lose my, where am I at? We would love to have you. Join us. Check it out. Meet myself and others. Hang out for the weekend. We're in Louisville, Kentucky is going to be the location of Brofest 2026. Plenty to do there. Plenty of good places to eat, hang out, things to see, make a weekend out of it, hang out with myself and others. Dudes only. Dudes only. Other than Lauren, any other female speakers we may have, but attendees. Jack Lumen. All right, Jack Lumen. Very good. Ask about Facebook, says Scott. I don't know what that means, Scott. I'm dramatic pause as I'm thinking, what does he mean by this? Scott, don't be so cryptic. If this is for me directly, say, hey, Ralph, you should do this and this. Ask about Facebook. Hey, guys, tell me about Facebook. I don't know what that means. Is that in reference to the previous thing where the guy says, is it a red flag? You've been dating for 6 months and she does not add you to Facebook. So just ask her about the Facebook thing. That's what I said. Yeah. All right. What else, guys? Anything else? We've been on for almost an hour already. Wow. That goes by fast. Oof. Let me bring up my other little banners here. You know, guys, you can see behind me. Oh, shit, wrong way. I'm pointing with my glasses there. This little guy right here. Oh, The Dead Bedroom Fix is the name of my most popular book. It's the most popular thing I've ever done, period. If it wasn't for that book, you wouldn't see me here today. That book and the success of that book led to this, led to this, led to this, led to a lot of people seeing me, led to the ability for me to devote myself full time to this. It's very popular for a reason. I'm a little biased, but I think it's pretty good. And the book is called The Dead Bedroom Fix. It addresses, of all the things I've ever talked about over the years, and I've talked about a lot of different stuff when it comes to being a single dude, a single dad, starting over in life, divorce, and everything else. There are two topics that get more attention than anything else. Number one, by a long shot, is dead bedrooms, sexless marriages, low sex, low amounts of intimacy in a long-term relationship from the male perspective as being the quote victim, the guy who wants more, but the spouses buzz off. That's the number one thing I've ever talked about. That gets more attention than anything else, hence the sales of that book. The number two most popular topic is somewhat related, is female infidelity. In fact, good tie-in, I recently did an interview with Michelle Langley. She's the author of two books, Women's Infidelity 1 and Women's Infidelity Part 2. She has a website, women'sinfidelity.com. Check it out. And we did an interview for the Help for Men YouTube channel. So just do a search for Michelle Langley Help for Men, and you'll find it on YouTube. Or go to @RealHelpForMen. That's our handle on YouTube. And it's got some pretty good numbers, that video, that interview, because it's right behind the whole sexless marriage thing. Those are the two big, most emotion-laden topics that I talk about that get the most attention from a lot of people. So Mr. J says, your therapist says that I need to stop focusing on sex and see the other ways that she is expressing love. That's great, but I'm sick of hiding how I feel. I need sex. It's not negotiable. I just can't keep waiting. I'm with you, dude. In essence, what your therapist did in a roundabout way is kind of lessen or belittle that aspect of your human nature, which is the need for sexual intimacy. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a ist of any kind. No degrees, no nothing behind me here. Bald dude, microphone, one of many, yada, yada. But if you came to me with that, I would say, well, you're a healthy man. Yeah, of course you want that. You're engineered to do that. Hence why we have the proliferation of sex workers, pornography, and all these other stuff. It preys upon that inclination. You're wired to want that, and want that often from a plethora of different women. Sexual variety is kind of what we're engineered for, which is why as I and others just sit here, hear that? That's me making about 1 million more sperm. Wow, that was pretty crass and gross, but I'm just making a point. So to take that aspect of who we are in our brain and everything else, hormonal, everything works in concert to say, hey, you're supposed to be doing this, dude. Why aren't you doing this? To go to a therapist and say, body, brain yelling, and they just go, that's silly. You should think about other stuff, like how she makes awesome dinners for you. Isn't that worth something? Huh? You're like, that doesn't resolve the very real, screaming, innate, natural, animalistic urges, desires, needs that I have within me. Sorry, but if the natural progression for this line of thinking is, if she's not going to do it, maybe somebody else will. Oh, that's a big no-no. Why? Because she knows she'll probably lose you if you do that. You go get it elsewhere and get your jollies met there through some other woman who's gladly wants to do that with you. You're gone. You're never coming back. That's just how it goes. So for a lot of women, the goal is, for a lot of women like this, low libido, the goal is keep the family unit together, keep the kids under one roof, don't split up the family. If that means pissing him off and shaming him to the point where he no longer wants anything to do with me, cool, so be it, as long as we're still together. And your therapist is kind of going along with that train of thought. Hey, gotta stick together, dudes, no matter what. And I think it's horseshit. It's unhealthy. In a way, it's kind of a I bet you if your therapist is like most, they would consider themselves to be a very progressive minded kind of individual. But it's funny how that progressive mindedness has a limit. And your therapist, like most, would probably be agreeable with the fact that, yes, we sorry if I piss off some of your more religious types, but it's my show, bear with me, that yes, we have evolved from the ape. Yes, we are one of the many mammals in the animal kingdom. Yes, we have a certain level of desires and inclinations. And a lot of people go, we're not animals. Yes, we are. And a lot of women say, "You're just a slave to your hormones." I don't think you want to go down that road talking about being slave to hormones and emotions. Okay, just put that out there. So, um, um, but what's funny is they will agree with all that science. Yes, part of the animal kingdom. Sure, we all have a series of da da da. So it would. So what about human sexuality? It ends there. Why? Because it's not nice. It's not nice to tell this woman who's been mother to your children and done all these things over the years, and yet that she's not scratching that itch. It's not very nice to her, and it puts the relationship in danger and all this other stuff. Let's just pretend we don't hear that. The same level of scrutiny and dismissiveness, if you will, is not given to the other more softer, more feminine things, such as, "Hey, husband, your wife says she needs to, connect with you emotionally. Your wife says that she wants to talk to you at night. It's not a big deal to talk to your wife for God's sakes. You know, have a heart to heart like you used to. Don't just dismiss her and go, yeah, whatever, and drink your beer and go downstairs to the basement and disappear for hours. That's not nice. Don't do that." Now, if he went and said, "She should appreciate me for my work and forget about the emotional stuff," every therapist would say, "No, dude, you don't work that way, man. That's not nice. You need to be kinder and gentler and more empathetic to your wife and open up to her and talk to her. You're her spouse, for God's sakes." But when it comes to the old in and out, they're like, "Okay, now that's not every therapist, but you got a not so good one. Sorry to say." Hmm. Do, 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 do. Oh, by the way, says Gert. John, I'm not even going to attempt this name from Facebook. Gert says, "Oh, by the way, divorced last year, still adjusting to not giving a shit, but I'm getting there. Start not caring about being Facebook friends with women. You're just dating. They don't care either. It'll be fine." There you go. That's in a roundabout way. Mr. Gert is saying, no need to be so anxious. Just let her do her thing. It sounds like that part of the relationship is not very important to her. If it's super important to you, to myself and Gert, we're like, that's not too good. But if it is in fact very important to you, maybe you let her go for that kind of reason. I don't know. It seems kind of silly, but or at least approach her. UT, back to this is the gentleman who's underperforming according to a lot of ladies financially and otherwise. He says, "So it seems that younger women are more interested in me." Interesting. "My largest age difference was 10 years younger." How old are you, Mr. UT? I forgot. You said 40, 41, right? So 31. That's not like you're robbing the cradle or anything. These are grown 30-some-year-old women. "But it seems in my local pub, even girls in my 20s like me. What do you think about age gaps? Have fun. I don't care. Sorry. They're adults." Who cares more about that than most a lot of ladies. Why? Because it's not nice that here's a guy that they're like, "Oh, potential mate," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going out with a 29-year-old." She's like, "You fucking why?" Because she's 51 years old and she doesn't want to hear that. It's not nice. I know there's a lot of shit that's not nice. Like women look at me and call me an egghead, and I look like a toe or whatever it is. It's not nice either, but that's their preference. And if you're a guy who's like, I don't know, I like hanging out with this 29-year-old. She seems nice. Okay, then have fun. As far as I'm concerned, that's not weird. Um, uh, and then your therapist says, "Mr. J, the therapist says, your therapist says that sex will come later once we establish emotional connection and safety." Okay, we are a year in, and I'll keep trying. Yeah, it's a difficult one, man. I did a video on this, so it'll come out later in the future, but get it out of the way here. A lot of men go, "She wants emotional safety and connection. She sure as shit didn't want that when we first married. She didn't want that with all these guys that she was dating before me, who she didn't have any kind of long-term relationship. Some one night stands, some 2 or 3 week relationships. She barely knew the men, and she had all kinds of fun with them. And yet here we are, 10, 20, whatever years into our relationship, and she won't even lay a hand on me unless we achieve this nebulous, undefined emotional connection thing." Okay, what does that mean? Therapy, sit down, talk. And the guy just tries anything and everything to reach this pinnacle of emotional connection, which is basically in her mind, let's be honest. And if you were to ask her and sit her down and put a gun to her head and say, tell us what emotional connection means, damn it, she won't be able really to define it either. It's one of those, I don't know, I'll know it when we achieve it. Not very fair to the spouse. It's tough, man. At a visceral, physical, lustful level, if you will, sexual level, no, she doesn't need that to achieve or sexual connection with somebody, but she does with you. That's not a condemnation of you. I'm not saying because you are unattractive or whatever. It's because you're her spouse. The long-term monogamy game, way different than the early relationship game. Just the way it is, man. And she is saying, you ain't playing the game right at this stage in her life. But unfortunately, she doesn't know what the steps to the game are. She doesn't know. She won't share the instruction manual with you because she doesn't know it either. She doesn't have one either. It's tough. It'd be nice from a male perspective if they could say, do the following 5-10 things, and then we will officially achieve a level of safety and emotional connection. You could go, phew, now I know what to do. Let's get to work. But it doesn't work that way, does it? And then you have the added obstacle of her saying, I can't tell him what to do, because if I tell him exactly what to do and then he does it, that doesn't count. Ugh. It's a pain in the ass, right? More than likely, will this result in a grand epiphany on your part of, I finally get it, what she means? And probably not. And if she's not willing to put in work, which you said earlier, and all this other stuff, if she's just sitting back and going, let's just wait and see if Mr. Man can finally achieve the prize and kick the goal as I, move the goalposts around so that he doesn't kick it. If he eventually does kick the goal by accident, I'll say, oh shit, he kicked the goal. Yeah, but you also need to do this over here. That's what you're in store for, dude. That's what I've seen over and over. I could be wrong. She could be, we're only hearing one side of the story, Mr. J's side. If we sat her down and said, what's going on with you and Jay, maybe she has a totally different perspective on this. That's very valid. And I may go back to Jay and say, Jay, dude, you forgot to mention this whole other thing, my man. Why didn't you talk about that? I don't know. But just going by what you say here, Mr. J, don't hold your breath. All right. Useful thought. UT. How about 22 years of age? Dude, who cares what I think? Who cares what anybody thinks? If you meet a gal who is an adult, you're 41 years of age, she's 22 years of age. You guys want to have fun together, whether that means sexy or not. What if you're just hanging out? Is that so weird? No, she's 22. Could she technically be your daughter? I guess if you started really young, but I'm not so puritanical that I'm so hung up on that. I've never dated anyone with that big of an age difference. I think the biggest I ever was like 9 years. So not bad. But I never thought it was weird. And I don't know. I'm not such a prude when it comes to that. 22-year-old, have fun. Knock yourself out. Oh, God, Mr. J. Dude, were you the one that I did the video on before? We talked about your therapist, your wife is a therapist. Is this that one? Or is this another one? You say, P.S. My wife is a therapist and successfully treats couples all the time. Successfully? But in our session, she is dead silent and says nothing. LOL. Is what it is, man. And then UT says, you went on a walk in the woods with a 22-year-old chick with your dogs, nothing more. You seem very hung up on what everybody thinks, Mr. UT. That's something you need to work on, my friend. 22-year-old chick shows up with her dogs. You want to go for a walk? Yeah, sure. Who cares? And you go for your walk and have a good one. See ya. Who gives a shit, dude? Have fun. Enjoy her company. It's something we miss out a lot on. Just enjoying each other's company. Whether it's the 80-year-old woman next door who wants to have tea or whether it's the 22-year-old wants to walk dogs, have fun. Who gives a shit what everybody thinks? Okay. UT, buddy, you're all over the place. Grant from YouTube says, I'm 43 and I just pulled, that means he, I pulled a 22-year-old girl. She's been coming to me all smiles and tall for a year. Smiles and tall? Oh, I don't know. And she's really keen. She is sporty and is a cargo ship captain. That's kind of cool. 22-year-old cargo ship captain. Hey, have fun. You're not going to hear me shame you or whatever. Enjoy that. Um, oh, she's all smiles and talk for a year, and she's really keen. So, are you like Grant? Are you kind of on the edge here? Like, should I ask her out officially on a date or what? Is that weird? Just ask the woman out. Who cares? Yeah, you guys worry too much about what everyone thinks. Just have fun. And I'm sure I'll have an army of women watching this later if I cut this up into clips coming on saying, you a-holes, this is robbing the cradle. These poor women are getting taken advantage of. She's being trafficked. That one's getting thrown around a lot. It's like, she's an adult woman. She likes this older dude. Who gives a shit? My wife is 6 years younger than me. And when we first started dating, I know this sounds like typical dude bragging things, but I have witnesses to back me up. My kids can back me up on this. When I first started dating Natalie, she looked like way younger than me. The baldness doesn't help with the whole age thing or whatever. And I've been accused of robbing the cradle and stuff. I'm like, dude, she's only 6 years younger than me. She's a doctor, for fuck's sake. Found myself just kind of hyper defending myself and everything else, and eventually get to the point like, yeah, younger chick, yeah, knock yourself out. Is what it is. Jack Lewin says, hey, if she has a steady job, the cargo ship captain, that's a green flag. Yeah, it's unusual these days. Ladies and germs, I need to call it quits here, but I thank all of you for joining me this fine, let me bring that back, Wednesday afternoon. Let me go through all the little things here. Helpformen.com/join. Guys, one of you at least on here that are joining me today in the comments and so forth, 1, 2, 3 of you probably need to belong to a support community of some kind. That doesn't just mean commenting on random videos on the internet and talking to dudes in the comments. No, it means real back and forth communication, talk, live meetings, getting together in person and forums and threaded discussions and all kinds of cool stuff. And I happen to have a community just for that. The Brotherhood, helpformen.com/join. Holy shit, I almost forgot. Let me put this out there, if I may. Hold on, ladies and germs. One moment, please. Talk amongst yourselves. Coupon code. Let's see how this looks on screen, shall we? And save. Now, what if I say show? There you go. Helpformen.com/join takes you to the page to join. And when you check out, but we have different like levels of membership. You want to be a lifetimer, just pay once and be done with it. We have that. If you're like, I'd like to be a lifetimer, but can I split that big cost up into like payments? Yeah, we got that too. I just want to pay month to month and see how it goes, see if I like it before committing to anything else. We have that. I want to pay year to year, and we got that too. Maybe a little, now that I'm saying out loud, maybe too many options. Maybe it's kind of confusing. But anyway, whatever option you choose, if you use the coupon code 200K, 200 in the letter K, excuse me, you get 30% off any of those for the lifetime of your membership. So if you're a month-to-month guy, and I'm gonna do that for the next few years, then it's 30% off each month. Pretty cool. Same for the annual, lifetime, 30% off. Boom, you're in for good. The 200K is in honor of, is that the right word? Commemorate, whatever. We reached 200,000 followers on the Dad Starting Over page on Facebook. Yay, insert applause here. And so use coupon code 200K, you get 30% off. Pretty cheap. If you're a veteran and you have the ID to prove it, you can also, there's a button right on that join page that says, if you're a veteran, click here, you get 40% off, regardless of coupon codes and all that other stuff. No, this coupon code cannot be applied to that, or can it? No, it can't. Not to the veteran discount already. We're not going to give this for free. We have a lot of costs to cover. Stab myself. Check out the Brotherhood, helpformen.com, coupon code 200K, get in 30% off. All right, guys. Too much talking today. I wore myself out. You guys have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Hope you guys catch me on my live coming up on Friday with Adam. Nissenson, the Betrayal Shrink. Check out betrayalshrink.com. That should be a good chat. And then I believe the week after that, I got another one coming up, or 2 weeks after that. I don't know. Check out the schedule of the lives on Facebook, on YouTube, on the Dad Starting Over page. We're keeping busy with the lives. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate all the comments. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Mr. Jack, Mr. Youthful Thoughts. I'll never be able to say that. Mr. UT and Jack and everybody else. Grant, Jay. Who else am I missing? Mr. Scott from HFM. Thank you. Check out helpformen.com/coaching and check out Scott's bio. I believe that'd be it. Hey, everybody, thank you all so very much. Appreciate all of you. And we will catch you on the next one. A toodaloo.